Monday, January 13th, about minus 33 Celsius out today. And we were out here yesterday. Dad and Peter and Koop managed to get this Bombardier out of the shop and turned around. I pointed out yesterday that Peter's going to need some new tubes or tires because those ones are flat already. When we left off yesterday, they were just installing the engine and transmission, and they were going to spend some time here today getting it all balanced and into place and putting in the engine mounts and the transmission mounts. So we're going to walk around and check on Dad's schedule or progress over here. And you can see that the crane's still in place and the chain's still wrapped around the engine to get it all perfectly lined up. I can see some engine mounts down there, but we've still got the dunnage that he's got to move into place. I know they had to take out the engine pan there because the oil plug was right underneath and it was probably going to rub, so they're going to have to raise that up or change out the engine pan. And it looks like they already got the fan on. I don't remember the fan being on yesterday. But Dad probably would have done some installation there already on some of the numerous parts that had to go on. It'll be a lot easier doing this now than later. I can see a new drop-in distributor that's already in there. So, and then he's got the engine mounts here as well. And we take a closer look at the transmission that's on blocks here right now. And I think this was the way to go for these guys. So this is the heavy bulk work that Dad needs to get done. And once all this is in place and lined up, they'll be able to say goodbye to the heavy work on this machine. The last big heavy work they have to do obviously is put in the tracks in here. So once they've adjusted there and put all that stuff into place, that'll be the last of the heavy work. I noticed there's not too much swearing going on here today, so they must have been working together quite nicely. Koop's always a great hand to have around here because he just takes Dad's yelling in stride, and Dad can put him on a lot of different tasks and he's able to do it. This is probably what, your fifth Bombardier, eh, Koop? Yeah, so anybody needs a hand, Koop has done enough work now on these Bombardiers. He could probably give you his best advice and whatnot.
Him and Peter can do the other two.
Yeah. So what got accomplished here today?
We're going to start manufacturing these right in Canada.
Yeah, well,
Right from scratch.
okay.
Oh, that's good enough. Now take that, yeah, and put it underneath the center, on this beam. Yeah.
Well, we're going to let these guys finish off the last of the day here, and then I'll check in with Dad. We got a customer coming for one of these transmissions. These are old standard transmissions out of the older machines, and the customer indicated he needs that one. Dad cleaned up this one. It's going to come with the bearing assembly. Got the tracks inside the shop already, and then but sure nice to have this open space right up. So they just got this jacked up because they're going to put on the tracks here. We just pulled over the one set of tracks, and we're going to take off 8 cleats. I guess that's the magic number, 8 or 9, I can't remember, just to loosen it up so they can actually install it. So they're putting a new pulley on for the fan. I guess the old one was too big, and they needed to line up correctly here and be the right kind. So they got a pail full of them here.
Okay, we have to go with the shallowest one. That one's no good. See what the height is on the red one.
So close enough to the end of the day that they figured, you know what, move the tracks into place here. They're going to, there's another young guy showing up here tomorrow, and he's going to help them put on the tracks. When you have like 2-3 guys, these can go on in hour and a half, no problem. Obviously you're doing it one time by yourself. It can take you hours and hours and hours. But many hands make light work, and track installation is something that you should do with as much help as possible. But once these guys have the tracks installed, they can let down that jack here, and everything will be level for the engine. I think Dad said he wants to bring up the engine a little bit more because they need more clearance for the fan, because they still have to install the rad. So that's their task there for tomorrow. We're just grinding off the old drill heads or drill bits before they put in the sprockets.
It's gotta go in there. It's not quite up, not quite on.
That's the right side for sure?
Yep, we'll just spin them on snug.
So they got the sprockets on the both sides there now. They were doing some grinding to get rid of some screw heads off that they had to do. They're just going to roll out here the track, and we're going to
We gotta go over the tank.
More in?
Just none. There's a little more to it. Hey, don't forget we gotta go over the axles. Back here, lift over the axle.
Somebody get in there?
Come here, bro, and lift.
Okay, so clearly we're not waiting for the other guy to show up tomorrow. We're going to try and put one track on here right now. They're taking off a couple extra cleats, and we were finding that we couldn't actually make clearance on the sprocket. So we're going to try to possibly get it over the sprocket first and then turn it. So they're going to just take the sprocket off here, or they have taken it, just so they can slide the belt into place. And then once the belt is in place, they're going to reinstall the sprocket. That's probably what they needed to do to begin with. There we go. Who did figure this out?
Lift in. Backing plate or nuts for the plate top. Start it up onto the sprocket. Easy to work on.
So every machine's different. I've seen Dad do this a number of different ways, but in this case here, the solution was to remove about 12 cleats, take off the sprockets, reinstall them.
One belt off.
And so we got one belt on this way, and They're just putting the backing plates and nuts and bolts back into place for the cleats. Obviously it'll have to be pulled along here and do as many of them as they can, but that is the trick here right now. Dad still has to install wheels and bogies, and but yeah, so coming close to the end of the day here, but they got jump started on one set of tracks, and they'll do the other set of tracks there tomorrow, and probably end up doing bogie and wheels plus work on the engine for tomorrow. So yes, quite a bit of work here. These guys are busy right to the bitter end. And here's our kitty shop cat, Filipino Emily, who's on full-time guard duty now. Heard her bark the first time ever the other day. Charlie's guarding the shop floor, and then Nina Pinta Santa Maria is just in love with her big brother and big sister.